All right, beautiful people. So زي ما كنت بقول لكم في البداية احنا دلوقتي داخلين على امتحان. So بدنا نركز على skills separately. النهارده نركز على full passage practice. Now بالنسبة لامتحان ال EST أول حاجة أنا عايزاكم تفهموها وتفهموها كويس. The hardest passage is the first passage. Literature is the hardest passage. لو شفت درجات عندكم دايما هنلاقي literature أقل درجة. وليه literature ليها أقل درجة؟ عشان غير باقي passages هو بيعتمد على metaphors والsimiles، بيعتمد على ability بتاعتنا نفهم الباسج بيقول لنا ايه. So it's really important لما اجي approach أول passage I do realize this is probably the hardest passage عشان فيه interpretation كتير جدا. When you're working on fictional passages or when you're working on literature, one thing انتوا لازم طبعا تركزوا عليها those are of course the characters وده طبيعي صح؟ As you're reading your focus is on the characters بس السؤال بقى بركز على ايه في characters? What do I focus on بالنسبة characters? This is where you go to the questions, right? A lot of people ask, well, لما اجي اتعامل مع passage, how do I deal with this? بركز على ايه? What do I read? What do I check? What do I watch? And so it's important انتوا لازم تفهموا well ايه هو المفروض اركز عليها. A lot of students بيحبوا يخشوا على الباسج على طول ويقروا الباسج بدون هدف. So نيجي نقرا الباسج من غير هدف it makes the passage more boring. But when I'm reading the passage بهدف معين بيبقى اسهل عليا افهم الانفورميشن عشان الانفورميشن اللي انا عايز افهمه هو الانفورميشن اللي هي علاقه بالايه بالquestions. So the first thing عايزين نعملها قبل ما نبدا نحدد اهدافنا وبنحدد الهدف ازاي through the questions. الquestions بيجي بيسالوا على points معينه احنا عايزين نقرا البوينتس دولت ونقول لنفسنا او نحدد لنفسنا لما اجي اقرا هركز على كذا وكذا وكذا وكذا. For example وده ياخد a couple of minutes, right? وده ياخد a couple of minutes. One thing احنا لما نيجي نقرا we check the questions first. For example, number one, what tone does the main character set for the passage? So now I'm thinking of the tone of the main character. So as I'm reading في دماغي ايه what could the tone be? And remember tone بيعتمد على ايه certain words with certain mood or feeling. Question number two بيسألني على dialogue من 45 until 56. Now again عشان احنا عندنا امتحان ورقي I would put a bracket here. أحط نجمة هنا ونفسي في سؤال هنا. أو ممكن نحط question number 2 هنا في actual paper sheet for in the paper. So remember this. So as you're reading في points الباسج يقول لك ركز عليها. Or question number 3, this is an evidence-based question. Question number 4 بيسألني على situation. Now again أنا ممكن أجي هنا على line number 27 وأحط هنا question number 4 ده بالنسبة لي في سؤال هنا. So as I'm reading أنا بستوعب السيتويشن وبيعلي نسبة الcomprehension عندي. Question number 5, what do lines 64 until 74 indicate about Stepan's character? Now again أنا بعمل إيه؟ قبل ما أقرأ كل ده بعملها أنا قبل ما أقرأ. أنا بجهز الباسج. So I put a little line right here, 67 until 74, little enigma right here. I put question number 5. So now I'm telling myself as I read أوصل الجزء ده بركز على الكاركتر نفسه. Question number 6. Which of the following describes the organization of the passage? وده زي question number 1 بيسألني على passage بشكل عام. Remember question number 1 كان بيسألني على tone هنا بيسألني على organization. وagain يعني ايه organization ترتيب الباسج. What is the beginning? What is the middle? What is the end? Question number 7. On the basis of the passage, which of the following statements about Stepan can be made? Now again, سؤال زي ده بقى مش specific, صح? This is not a specific question. So what can I do? I just skim the answer choices برضو اخد فكرة عن لما اجي اوصف الكاركتر. لما اجي اقول حاجة عن الكاركتر لازم ادور على حاجة زي ده or pay attention to something like this. Superficial, his love for his wife outweighs her love for him. He's unbothered by deceitful acts. He's aware of the chaos within the household. Okay, cool. أنا عندي فكرة عن إيه هو المفروض أما أجي أقرأ أدور عليها. Question number 8 is an evidence-based question. Question number 9 بيسألني هنا on line number 30. Warning most nearly means. Now there you go. I circled this. I put number 9 vocab here, as you can see there. And then question number 10, unlucky in line 101. Now again بيسألني هنا on line 101 بيسألني على unlucky في الامتحان نفسه or on the paper test I put question number 10 here وبحدد الانفورميشن ده. So when I'm identifying the information ايه هو المفروض اركز عليه لما اجي اقرا قبل ما اقرا الباسج. It makes the passage easier to understand عشان احنا كده بنحدد هدف. Okay. So what we're going to do right now هنشتغل على passage number 1. على passage number 1 هديكوا 13 دقيقة. In those 13 minutes again انتوا هتعملوا ايه؟ انتوا هتعملوا ايه؟ أول حاجة هنقرا الأسئلة. هنخزن عندنا ايه هو انا عايز اركز عليها او ايه هو المفروض اركز عليه في القرايه. And then when I read بقرا بالاسئله في دماغي in the background of my mind. So دلوقتي حتى انا فاكر دلوقتي tone, character, unlucky, a couple of vocab questions وكان في dialogue من 46 until 54. Right? So حتى دلوقتي ممكن استوعب الانفورميشن ده مش صعب. وحتى في الامتحان نفسه ممكن تكتبوا وتدوروا على ايه. مش عيب يعني تكتبوا نوتس لنفسكم. نوتس انا عندي ترابيزه مليان نوتس. So it's really important برضه مش اخزن بس بكتب. Okay. Do you guys have any questions before we begin? أروى احنا في الكلاس ورك عندنا هنلاقي امتحان جون EST 2021 موجود عندك. Okay. So هنشتغل على passage number 1. Yes جنة because your score ما كانش أحسن حاجة جنة. مش حلو خلاص right. ده حلو من غير راجع من غير يشوف ايه اللي خليني اختار الإجابة الغلط. That's will never improve that way. So it is important. Okay حليت الامتحان nice. Now we need to figure out why did we make a mistakes اللي كان عندنا. Okay. It's really important. فدلوقتي يا شباب انا هديكوا عايز اقول لكم 13 دقيقة. اكتبوا لي ready وانتوا جاهزين في الباسج. اكتبوا لي ready وانتوا جاهزين. When you're ready ابعتوا لي ready في الشات. Okay, Basmala is ready. Nobody else is ready. Seriously يا جماعة أنا بعت لكم الأسايمنت ده من قبل ما أكلم يعني. I see who's ready and who's not ready. طيب بسملة is ready. ريتاج محمد is ready. يارا is ready. أروى جاهزة ولا لا؟ فتحتي what's the issue? Okay, أروى is ready. 3 2 again. هقرا الأسئلة الأول. هشوف ده بياخد وقت من عندي قد إيه. هياخد دقيقة. Keep that in mind. 3 دقايق نقرا الباسج بالأهداف right with the goal in mind. Please begin. Very fast, Ritaj Muhammad. Okay. But very good job. Very good job indeed. Okay. Did you find it helpful? Okay. It's not gonna be a game changer or anything like that. Three minutes left. About 2 minutes left. Okay. 1 minute left. When you're done, about 2 done. All right, beautiful people. 10 seconds left. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, time is up. Time is up. Right, Mrs. Jannah, you made a 4. Yara, you made a 6. Is that correct? Maybe I should zoom in. Mr. Oh, yeah, you made a 6. Ritaji Muhammad, you made a 10. Basmala, you made a 2. Arwa, you made a 2. So, Taban, I'm happy we're doing this passage دلوقتي عشان of course it's time for us to review. لما أجي أبدأ الباسج معاكم أول حاجة هعملها هراجع معاكم الباسج نفسه. As I read through the passage, I want you guys to pay attention when I identify important information. زي ما احنا قلنا برضو لما نيجي نقرا الباسج بنقرا الأسئلة الأول، بعد كده بنفكر في التون، بنفكر في الكونفرسيشن، بنفكر في ستيبان's character. هو أغلب أسئلة ركز على ستيبان، أنا برضو هركز على ستيبان لما أجي أقرا الباسج. لما أجي أقرا الباسج برضو things that catch my attention is things that should show the character عشان مش هو قال لنا دلوقتي في السؤال ستيبان's character. So I'm going to focus على the character ستيبان. I'm going to focus على the actions بتاعته، صح؟ I'm going to focus على ال emotions بتاعته and برضه I'm going to focus على ال relationships حسب بقى كل passage مختلفة و reading محتاج flexibility. So let's get started دلوقتي, right? This novel is a fiction novel based on Russian high society in the late 19th century. Happy families are all alike. Every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Notice how في البداية كده do you see this simple sentence في البداية ده كده بيقول لنا الجملة ديت مهمة. That means to us ده هيحكم أو ده هيأثر على باقي passage, right? So happy homes, happy families are all alike. Every unhappy family is unhappy. Now دلوقتي أنا عارف هيكلمني عن family، هيكلمني على الفاميلي إزاي الفاميلي is unhappy. You're going to find من أول برضو الباراجراف important information. This is a simple sentence في البداية. أي وقت أنت بتشوفوا جملة دغري simple, that's important. Everything was in confusion in Oblonsky's house. So now دلوقتي everything is in confusion. ده برضو بيsettle tone. ده برضو بيsettle tone. كلمنا عن happy, confusion. The wife had discovered the husband's deceit and she had announced to her husband that she could not go on living in the same house with him. Right here, من تاني جملة بيقول لنا conflict. It shows us some sort of conflict. وإيه هو conflict? The wife and the husband. This position of affairs had now lasted 3 days, and not only the husband and wife themselves, but all the members of their family and household were painfully conscious of it. I'm going to skip down to here, just so you know. I'm going to skip down to here. The children ran wild all over the house. The English governess quarreled with the housekeeper and wrote to a friend asking her to look out for a new situation for her. The man cook had walked off the day before, just at dinner time. The kitchen maid and the coachman had given warning. Now notice that be support the main idea بتاع paragraph. Everything is confusion. وده be support the main idea بتاع passage كلها how unhappy families are unhappy. Now let's continue here. 3 days after the quarrel, Prince Stepan, the main focus بتاعتنا, Stiva, as he was called in the fashionable world, woke up at his usual hour, that is at 8 o'clock in the morning, not in his wife's bedroom, but on the leather-covered sofa in the study. So there's a few things to unpack here هنا في الجملة. أول حاجة, we see characterization, we see the character. And how do we see the character هنا؟ عشان بيقول عليه in the fashionable world. So خدوا بالكم how the character is described with word choice اللي بيوصف the character. So we know Stepan now is some sort of fashion icon, something like that, right? ودلوقتي برضو he didn't sleep in his bed, he slept in the couch, right? مش ده ليه علاقة بالconflict كان بينه وبين his wife. He turned over his stout, well-cared-for person on the springy sofa as though he would sink into a long, deep sleep again. I'm going to skip now and go to the next paragraph. And this paragraph مهم عشان كان في سؤال هنا. Yes, how was it now? He thought, going over his reverie. Now, how was it? To be sure, Alibin was giving a dinner to D. No, not D, but something American. One thing I want you to notice برضو سامي الصعبة مش لازم اقرا الكلمه كلها، ده بيأثر علينا وبيعطل الريدنج بتاعتنا. ممكن اقرا بس اول حرف D A. Yes, but then D was in America. Yes, A was giving a dinner on glass tables and the tables sang kaza kaza kaza. But something better. And there were some sort of little decanters on the table, and there were women too, he remembered. So I know دلوقتي الباراجراف that it is a sort of memory. صح? He remembered a memory. I continue reading. Stepan's eyes twinkled gaily and he pondered with a smile. Now, أنا عايزكم برضه تاخدوا بالكم بالcharacterization. كل ده where he was talking to, he's being deceitful, dishonest مع مراته. Notice the descriptions لما نيجي نتكلم عن ستيبان. ما تنسوش لما واحد بيحكي قصة، بيحكي القصة من ال point of view of character معين. So ال point of view ده شخصيته بتبان في الناريشن. فلو الكاركتر محبط الناريشن هيبقى محبط، لو الكاركتر مش مهتم الناريشن مش هيبقى مهتم. And clearly here من الاكشنز بتاع ستيبان بعد ما اتقفش وكل حاجة هو بيعمل ايه؟ مش مهتم. He's smiling, he's trying to remember a dream. And this is for a man who's not sleeping in his marital bed. صح؟ I'm going to skip down here as well. Now, see some details, of course, but I'm skipping عشان نوفر وقت. And thereupon, he suddenly remembered that he was not sleeping in his wife's room, but in his study. And why? The smile vanished from his face. He knitted his brows. Okay, so now we have a change in tone هنا. صح? We have a change in tone. هو فاكر بقى الفايت بينه وبين مراته. Oh, he muttered, recalling everything that had happened, and again, every detail of his quarrel with his wife was present to his imagination, all the hopelessness of his position, and worst of all, his own fault. Bardo, notice simple paragraph, important information. It was his fault, right? Dishonesty tatu. Yes, she won't forgive me, and she can't forgive me. And the most awful thing about it is that it's all my fault, though I'm not to blame. Notice the words, the كل ده characterization. So the narrator بيقول لنا it's his own fault, but Stepan بيقول لا مش عيبة مش عليا, it's not my fault. That's the point of the whole situation, he reflected. Oh. He kept repeating in despair as he remembered the acutely painful sensation caused by his quarrel. لحد دلوقتي كل ده بيتكلم عن the fight with his wife. Most unpleasant of all was the first minute when, on coming happy and good-humored from the theater with a huge pear in his hand for his wife, he had not found his wife in the drawing room to his surprise, had not found her in the study either, and saw her at last in her bedroom with the unlucky letter that revealed everything in her hand. And عايزاكم تاخدوا بالكم بحاجة كمان. Passages زي دولت بيبقى فيه commas كتير. This is where your grammar skills come in. So when you see a lot of commas, رغي كتير, جملة طويلة, this is called a rambling sentence. في dependent clause, هلا dependent على dependent, شايفين كل ده? Your task عشان تلاقوا الانفورميشن المهمة is to identify the independent ideas as you read. That means the subject plus verb. بالنسبة للpassage ده, character plus action. Just remember that, okay? So he had not found her anywhere. She was holding the unlucky letter. So the بيقول لنا بقى ازاي بدأ. She, his dolly, forever fussing and worrying about household details and limited in her ideas as he considered, was sitting. This is the sentence. She was sitting perfectly still with the letter in her hand. So now we know what the passage is about. Now, المشكلة بتاعتها بالنسبة comprehension هو كترة commas, right? انتوا شايفين لما اجي بقرا my focus برضو بيجي in the beginnings and ends of the paragraphs. مش معناها ده بقرا ده بس. It's just that's where your focus is. Simple paragraphs, right? زي ما احنا قلنا هنا. Simple sentences, independent ideas, lots of information, but only 50% is important. فيلا نبدأ مع بعض, صح؟ يلا نبدأ مع بعض. What tone does the main character set for the passage? أروى إجاباتك عندي, صح؟ So دلوقتي يا أروى, cool calmness mixed with self-deprecation. Now يعني إيه؟ يعني إيه إجابة إيه؟ تعرفي ترجمها لي؟ Is your microphone working ولا لا? Okay. No. Okay, cool. So it's important نفهم vocabulary. It's important نفهم vocabulary اللي قدامنا. Make sure your microphone works, Mrs. Arwa. I see a few other people. So Yara, you got this wrong. صح Yara? Can you tell me يعني ايه hypocrisy ويعني ايه resignation?
مش عارفة hypocrisy بس resignation يعني زي استسلام أو
Okay, so مش عارف يعني hypocrisy. Okay, tell me the words you do understand. A فاهمة إجابة A ولا مش فاهمة يعني إيه deprecation؟
اسمه تقليل من نفسه.
Say that again.
تقليل من نفسه.
What is it? Okay, wow. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So answer A you eliminated.
تاني.
صح؟
أو
Okay, why? He's cool.
خلاص. A و B.
Say that again, please.
I was confused between A and B.
Well, the answer is not A. عشان في self deprecation هو بيقل عن نفسه. Does he read or بيشتم نفسه او بيقول على نفسه انا غبي انا غبي انا غبي. هو ممكن بيقول لنفسه يعني I can't believe it misery. But we're talking about the whole tone of the passage. ما بنتكلمش بس على الديتيل. خدوا بالكم tone مش هنلاقيها في مكان واحد. tone ده هنلاقيها في كذا location. It's not just one location. فاكرين لما احنا حلينا what's the word I'm looking for؟ احنا حلينا مع بعض ايه؟ The evidence questions. احنا قلنا الإجابة مش هيبقى في مكان واحد، هيبقى في كذا location. So there is no self-deprecation, right? And so you don't know يعني ايه resignation. ماشي. Optimism with naivety. عارفة two meanings دولت؟
ساذج و hope. زي hopeful.
زي hope. Very good job. What about naivety؟
ساذج.
Um, we'll put a question mark there, right? Despair mixed with self-absorption. يعني despair.
زي depression.
Something like depression, yeah. What about self-absorption?
self-centered.
Yes, self-centered. You should have more confidence in your vocabulary. طيب ليه قلت لي إجابة D? Clearly أنت فاهمة يعني إيه أو عارفة يعني إيه إجابة D. So why is answer D incorrect?
ما عملتش دي.
You're breaking up, my bro.
أنا ما عملتش دي.
I know. You eliminated D, correct?
yes.
طيب why? What was your reasoning؟ أنت شفتي إجابة D عشان عارفة يعني إيه despair self-absorption. So شفتي إجابة D وقلتي إجابة D غلط. ليه بقى؟ What was the
honestly
reason؟
ما كملتش الباسج كله، قريت شوية وجبت على طول التون.
Okay, but it still doesn't answer the question. Why did you eliminate D أو نقول حاجة تانية. Why did you say B من القطعة أنت قرأتيها. Why did you say B and not D?
ف...
Okay, so it's important we identify reasons why we choose answers, right? So the منافق على أساس إيه هو منافق. So there is no hypocrisy here. And resignation معناه هو بيخاف هو مكسوف. هو برضه there's no resignation. عشان هو كل ده في الأوضة عنده لوحده, right? بيفتكر اللي حصل امبارح. He's not optimistic. ده عكس الباسج خالص. It's D. He has some despair there. عشان هو أما افتكر إيه اللي حصل. He became very, very, very worried or scared. وبرضه خدوا بالكم في الفيكشن ال important ideas دايما بيجي in the end not in the beginning. وبرضه self absorption يعني بيفكر عن نفسه, right؟ يعني ايه بيفكر في نفسه؟ مش مهتم بالworld اللي حواليه. We know this from his words, right? هو بيقول العيب مش عليا. I'm not to blame. هو the guy cheats on his wife وبيقول it's not my fault. It's crazy, right? So here we're gonna go with answer D. Self-deprecation هو مش بيشتم نفسه. He doesn't مش بيقل عن نفسه خالص. Let's go to question number 2. My eyes are burning, 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 burning. من 45 until 56, right? Mrs. Jenna.
نعم.
طيب, you told me answer D, صح?
Oh.
Okay. A description of past events. So this is it's an easy question and it's a hard question, right? How do I know it's an easy question؟ عشان بيعتمد على أول جملة. أول جملة بيقول لك إيه اللي بيحصل. أول جملة بيقول اللي بيحصل. He thought going over his reverie. يعني إيه reverie يا Mrs. جنى؟
مش عارف.
It's a dream. Vocabulary, right? بس برضو these two are the same things. a past memory, and a description of past events. These are the same answers, right? But there's no other way to solve this question إلا عن طريقة واحدة. Realizing reverie is a dream, right? رخم السؤال ده. رخم السؤال ده. There's no way around that. And then number 2 مرتبطة بquestion number 3. Right? So unfortunately لو انتم مش عارفين يعني ايه reverie هتجيبوا question number 2 غلط and هتجيبوا question number 3 incorrect as well عشان evidence this is a dream reverie. Right? So unfortunately those are 2 poor parts. عشان كده انا عامل course vocabulary كامل وبديك vocabulary عشان على الأقل نحاول نفتكر الكلام. Right? نحاول نفتكر الكلام. Let's go to question number 4. Let's go to question number 4. See a few people got question number 4 incorrect. Yeah, basmala. Okay, here. Line 27. Remember, we have to work with context اللي بدهنا, and the situation is here. Okay, so basmala. أول حاجة قولي لي الcontext. أول حاجة قولي لي الcontext, please.
الكونتكست هنا بيتكلم عن الحالة عامة في البيت أعتقد. لحظة تانية أقرأها بس.
Okay.
مش عارفة، هو هنا في هاوس كيبر وفي الجوفرنيز وفي الوايف.
What are they trying to change? أما الهاوسكيبر بتكلم صاحبتها. What does she request from her friend?
إن هو
A new
يمشي.
situation, right? The governor scrolled to the
Okay.
housekeeper and wrote to a friend asking her to look out for a new situation, right? So this person fought with this person. These are employees, صح?
Okay.
Yeah, so when you're looking for something new, a new condition, المشكلة في الكلمة ديت is too vague. It's not clear. What are we saying exactly? Right? So this is actually incorrect عشان مش ملهاش معنى in this context. ملهاش معنى in this context. It's a new post. يعني ايه post?
مش عارفة بصراحة.
A new job.
Oh,
A
okay.
new job. Yeah. So you got to be very careful there. وتاخدوا بالكم ايه السيتويشن بيحصل وهنا in this context بيقول لنا everybody's leaving work. People are leaving. People are leaving. Let's go to question number 5. I think this is also من 67 until 74, right? وهنا بيسألنا على Stepan's character. And I'm going to read this portion. He cheerfully dropped his feet over the edge of the sofa and felt about with them for his slippers, a present on his last birthday, worked for him by his wife in gold-colored Morocco. And as he had done every day for the last 9 years, he stretched out his hand without getting up towards the place where his dressing gown always hung in his bedroom. And thereupon he suddenly remembered that he was not sleeping in his wife's room, but in the study. So what does this indicate to us about his character? خد بالكم, this guy just cheated on his wife ونايم على الكنبة وهو اساسا الفوكس كلها عن ايه؟ في الاخر بيقول ان ايه؟ لسه فاكر هو مش نايم في اوضه النوم عنده، نايم على الكنبة بره. So what does this tell us about his character, right? That he's a creature of habit? Well, maybe he's forgetful برضه maybe. He's self-indulged. يعني ايه self-indulged؟ واحد بيفكر في نفسه وخلاص. Well, not really, right? He excessively spoiled. مدلع. No. These are the 2 answers المفروض نركز عليهم عشان قريبين جدا من بعض. Right? And notice here, the problem here is, and as he had done every day for the last 9 years, shows us he's a creature of habit. Now تقولوا لي ليه مش forgetful؟ عشان هو فعلا نسي. صح؟ However, ده كده معناها ممكن نوصفه as a forgetful person كل شوية بينسى؟ No. So here we're going to go with answer A. He is a creature of habit. Any questions here for question number 5? Question number 6. يرجع لأول جملة ديت. Unhappy families are unhappy. إيه اللي بيحصل بعد كده؟ أروى. It tells us the story of an unhappy family being unhappy. Correct? So how is it organized? It's a generalization followed by specific instances. This is the generalization. بعد كده بيخش على السيتويشن نفسها. So here we're going to go with answer A. Here we're going to go with answer A. You have to be very careful. نمشيش السنس، نمشي بالنظام. All right, all right, all right. Let's move on, beautiful people. Let's move on, beautiful people. On the basis of the passage, which of the following statements about Stepan can most reasonably be made? Now, again, مش ده كان السؤال بقول لكم عليها بيسألنا على الكاركتر بتاعته. Now, there are some answers ممكن يطلعوا صح. He is superficial, that's صح. His love for his wife outweighs her love for him. This we cannot prove. He is unbothered by his deceitful acts. This ممكن نقول صح. He is aware of the chaos within the household. No, عشان هو مش عارف اللي بيحصل. Everything is in confusion. وهو أساسا مش واخد باله ونايم على الكنبة ومش شايف فوق من تحت وتحت من فوق. So here we're going to be dealing with answer A and answer C. We need to check evidence. So these are the evidence, right? 20 until 22, 63 until 69, 85 until 88, 90 until 93. And so this is the evidence base. Now, Arwa, inti gibti evidence صح, right? Yes, she won't forgive me. And she can't forgive me. And the most awful thing about it is that's all my fault. All my fault. Though, I'm not to blame. Now, this is tricky. It is tricky. عشان انت قلت لي he's unbothered by his deceitful acts. أنا مش هقول he's unbothered. Right? I wouldn't say he's unbothered, right? عشان here واضح he is bothered. He feels hopeless. So there is some botherness. So تقول he's unbothered معناها هو مش حاسس بحاجة. So I wouldn't say that. Remember, when you're dealing with a reading, you're trying to prove answers wrong. Right? His regret is superficial. And how do we know it's superficial? Superficial معناها his regret. Not his feelings, his regret. هو مش فعلا بيندم. هو مش بيندم اللي هو عمله. هو بيندم he got caught بس هو مش بيندم السيتويشن نفسه. So هو بيقول it's my fault. بس العيب مش عليا. It's not my fault. So here we're going to go with answer A. And then here we're going to go with answer C. So you got the evidence correct. محتاجين nuance بقى. والnuance معناها how can I differentiate؟ إيش عرفني الevidence ده معناها كذا ومعناها كذا. So that's why نقرا الباسج بتفرق معانا. Right? خدوا بالكم extreme answers. This answer is too strong. Okay? أي حاجة يقول لك 0% وأي حاجة يقول لك 100%, it's too strong of an answer. So avoid strong answers برضو. Question number 9. Warning most nearly means, right? That's the point of the whole situation. He reflected, oh, he kept repeating in despair. Am I reading the wrong spot? I am reading this wrong spot. Here, we were talking about the jobs هنا. صح وبنقول ازاي they were leaving their jobs, they quit their jobs, مش عارف ايه, مش عارف ايه, مش عارف ايه. And so they had given warning. That means هيستقيلوا. The context here is jobs. And so واحدة بتقول كلمي صاحبتك عشان تخرجني من المكان ده. The man cook left the day before. So it shows us that people are leaving work. So notice for resignation معناها استقالة. Reprimand عقاب, premonition تشوف حاجة في المستقبل. Information معناها information, right? So you told me information. يا أروى. I mean, you have to look at the context. إيه اللي بيحصل هنا يا شباب? And finally, question number 10. The unlucky no. ليه الauthor بيقول ده unlucky no؟ عشان ده بدأ كل حاجة. That's what started everything, right? She was holding the unlucky letter in her hand. You told me emphasize the lack of luck. It's not about luck. ده اللي بدأ المشكلة وده بدأ الحوار. So it's the trigger of the problem عشان هو بيرجع هنا في الميموري بتاعته وبيشوف مراته ماسكة اللاتر وباصص لها وخايف بقى ومش عارف ايه وده بدأ الخناقة بينه وبينها. So this was the fictional passage. I told you it is hard. خدوا بالكم بالanswer choices عشان في ال EST بيبقى فيه إجابات شبه بعض. All right, let's go to passage number 11. I'm going to skip this now. Usually بقول طلبة مع double passage. We only have 30 minutes left يا بسملة فصعب شوية. We only have 30 minutes left فصعب. You can go ahead كده كده مسجل. So I skip the double passage usually, and I usually tell students leave the double passage for the end so it's easier. Now I go to passage number 3. Now I go to passage number 3, right? So بالنسبة passage number 3, right? Okay. Sure about that, Ritesh? Passage 2 or 3? Okay, do number 3 بقى. Yeah, I see your score. So passage number 3, again, you're going to find a lot of hack in this passage. One way I tell students to deal with this passage, again, نقرا الأسئلة الأول عشان يدينا فكرة عن passage. So read the questions first. إيه هون عايزين نركز عليها. So like number 26 بيقول لي everything except, right? So I just read the answer choices عشان اخد فكرة عن اللي بيحصل في passage وإيه هو المفروض أركز عليها. Here's the thing بقى. For this type of passage, بيبقى ممل. I do go for topic sentence and concluding sentence if the paragraph is short. And I go first 2 sentences and last 2 sentences if the paragraph is long. Okay? Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So I would read the paragraph 4 or 5. This is one big paragraph. I would read the first 2 and the last 2, and then I would deal مع الأسئلة بقى as they come. اخد فكرة عن الباسج. المشكلة في الباسج ده فعلا بيبقى ممل, and the more boring a passage is, the more it will affect your scores. صح, احنا مش عايزين نقعد نقرا passage ربع ساعة by the way. ده هيقتلنا. I don't like skipping too much, but this is one of the situations where مش بكذب, I don't read the full thing. Okay, let's get started here. Beautiful people, let's get started here. Now, if you don't feel comfortable, طبعا, read the passage. If you don't feel comfortable. ده مش rule بقى حاجة لازم نعملها. I'm just telling you, sometimes with the EST reading, it gets too much. So then لازم أعمل إيه? Just skim through, اخد فكرة, and then في الأسئلة بقى بتعامل مع الأسئلة. But that's only لو في line references. مش كل شوية في line references, right? Let's get started. Passage number 3, من question number 31. Passage 3 من question number 31. Let's begin. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, Jenna, 4 minutes left, Jenna. Are you sure? برضو I would recommend دايما skip the fictional passage, save it for the end. Usually بيبقى أفضل for most people. Two minutes left. All right, peeps, mageeps. Let's wrap this baby up. Let's wrap this up. Okay. All right, Jenna, we said your score خلاص. Yara, you had a hard time هنا في passage, Mrs. Yara. Just loading for me, so let me just check the rest of these answers. Okay, Yara, you got 3. Mabru. Taj Muhammad, you got 5. Correct. Basmala. Miss Basmala, why the speed issue? I don't see a speed issue في الهومورك. اشمعنى هنا we have a speed issue?
مش عارفة، بس هو برضو بيكون عندي أحيانا مشكلة برضو في الهومورك إن أحل بسرعة. متعودة أحل بطيء.
اوكي I see انت مش بتلحقي. I see برضو time بيأثر عليكي، مش بس الفكرة التايم length، من ناحية الفكرة التايم نفسه. The idea of time itself is giving you some problems, I think. عشان without time you do better. So I think that يبقى أفضل لو you ignore time. Yeah. بس هنستنى شوية. Mrs. أروى، جالك شلل يا أروى؟ right؟ رخم الموضوع. كان عايزين نعمل passage 3 اساسا، انت عملت لي passage 2. But at the end of the day برضو أروى you have a big reading problem من ناحية speed و comprehension، صح؟ It takes practice and time ولازم تصبري على نفسك. Anyway, let's quickly review this passage, right? Let's quickly review this passage. If I remember correctly, كان بيتكلم عن the properties of zinc and water. So we're talking about zinc and water. So zinc occurs in nature most commonly as sulfide. It also occurs as carbonate. It is also used in the form of a thin film to protect iron goods. لحد دلوقتي, okay, ماشي, right? ماشي. Ores of zinc, more especially blende, are met with the most lead, copper, gold, and silver mines in large or small quantities scattered through the lodes. Zinc itself is readily soluble in dilute acids. So كل ده بيكلمني عن the properties of zinc, correct? كل ده بيكلمني عن the properties of zinc. All zinc compounds are either soluble in or are decomposed by boiling with acids. Sorry. Here you go. The precipitate contains the zinc, which can be dissolved out by boiling with dilute sulfuric acid. كل ده بيكلمني عن ايه ازاي ادوب الزنك. Wow, boring. EST hates you guys. The dry assay, the assay معناها like research, of zinc can only be made indirectly and is unsatisfactory. كل ده هيقول لي ليه how to do dry assay of zinc and how it's unsatisfactory, something that is not good. The loss in weight multiplied by 8.3 gives the percentage of zinc. مش هيسألونا على فكرة على التفاصيل دولت. في كل امتحانات ال EST مش بيسألوا على التفاصيل، بيسألوا عامة على ال properties، بيسألوا عامة على ال general ideas، مش بيسألوا في التفاصيل دولت صراحة يعني. Right? That's why I'm skipping through. Volumetric determination is based on the fact that zinc salts in an acid solution decompose potassium ferrocyanide, forming a white insoluble zinc compound. Okay. برضه بيكلمني عن ايه reactions. مش هقرا كل ده عشان مش هفهم. Right? I mean, honestly, it's very boring. بيكلمني في حاجات very technical, very detailed. وده حاجة واحد عادي مش يقراها. That's not something you read every day مثلا في newspaper or في مش عارف ايه. Where was this passage? Right? So it's not easy reading, just so you guys understand بالنسبة these types of passages. عشان كده بقرا topic و concluding sentence ومش بقول طلبة يعملوا كده خالص, but specific passages زي دولت وبيكلمني عن حجر. Okay, أفهم ايه. Right? هفهم تاني لما اجي احل. Because when I read the questions بعد دلوقتي هيديني حاجة أركز عليها. The purpose of the first paragraph بيقول لنا ال properties. احنا قلنا كده في البداية برضو. احنا قلنا it tells us the properties of zinc. صح؟ Outline من ideas لا. Hypothesis لا. Provide a definition. عشان بيقول لي zinc موجودة هنا. zinc مش عارف ايه. zinc مش عارف ايه. ممكن نستخدمها في مش عارف ايه. So it's giving us properties. هنا بيقول it's a definition. Okay, that's the closest thing. Defining zinc معناها تقول لي ايه هو ال properties of zinc. And then zinc occurs in nature. يعني ايه occurs بنلاقيها صح؟ بنتكلم عن mineral حاجة طبيعي. So it exists, comes to mind, suggests or takes place. لا, it exists. موجودة. حاجة موجودة in nature. Question number 24. These are all very general questions. The author guides the reader to the workings of assaying zinc. فين هنا هنا. Okay. Now, how does he guide the reader? So هنا بيسألنا ازاي بيرتب الباراجراف. Or how does he teach you about zinc هنا. So if I'm reading through the paragraph هاجي وهقراها وبلاقي methodology موجودة ازاي بنعمل حاجة. The following method gives approximate results. Right? So بيقول لي الميثود صح ولا لا؟ صح. So أنا بدور على الإجابة اللي بيقول لي بيدينا method. So مش بيقول لي الorigin or giving information whether necessary or unnecessary. دول مش إجابات يا جدعان. دول مش إجابات. Giving a basic overview لا عشان بيقول لنا ترتيب حاجة. Providing an experimental example. Right? And even the evidence موجودة هنا 49 until 50. Tells you how to work with zinc. So how does he guide us with assaying zinc? He teaches us the method behind doing zinc. I hate these questions. The author mentions all of the following except برضه ما فيش evidence هنا. The titration of zinc is more trustworthy than the gravimetric method. I think it was here. I think we will in titration أحسن, or it's not mentioned at all. And this is the problem if you're going to skip the passage. So El Zayda. Just so you guys know. So El Zayda, this will give us a major problem. Right? So I don't think this is mentioned assessment. So الموضوع, all of the following are mentioned except يا إما الإجابة الغلط هيبقى عكس اللاين numbers يا إما أساسا مش موجودة في الباسج. So be careful there, right? So زي ده. Zinc forms colorless series of salts موجودة في البداية. Zinc is unpredictable. هو بيقول على zinc volatile, if I remember correctly. Zinc is volatile. يعني volatile, unpredictable. The precipitate of zinc and ferrocyanide can either be white or blue depending on the presence of iron. I think that was near the end right here, right? Forming a white insoluble zinc compound. And that excess of the ferrocyanide can be detected by brown coloration. Where was the blue part? I can't remember where the blue part was. It was somewhere here. So here I give a D. Assessment, I don't think it's mentioned. Number 27, line 46, reduction. Right? Here, at the temperature of its reduction in gas, what are we talking about? We're talking about zinc, right? Zinc the reduction of zinc is a gas. So expansion عكسها. Demotion ده اللي علاقة بتترقى ولا لا. Discount تقلل عن حاجة. It's diminution means to minimize or make smaller. Hard one here, by the way. عشان كده بديكوا vocabulary. Number 28. The transition from the first half of the passage to the second half, starting at line 65, can be described as, well, if we're moving من one passage to another passage, مش احنا بدأنا نتكلم عن ايه؟ عن methodology. صح؟ ازاي نعمل حاجة. هنا بدأنا نتكلم عن ازاي نعمل حاجة ومن هنا بيقول ازاي نعمل determination. So generalization to supporting details, yeah, it's okay, but it's not specific enough. Exposition to a specific method, right? So بنتكلم عن ازاي نسطب it's like background information to a method. وهنا بيقول الميثود ازاي نعمل how to assay zinc. هو بيبدأ من هنا أساسا الشيفت نفسه. Argumentative to rhetorical. I mean, we're not arguing في أي حاجة هنا في passage. Evidence-based to persuasive. Again, this is a scientific passage. There's no persuasion. Number 29. Which of the following must be true for volumetric determination of zinc to take place? I have to go through the answers. I shouldn't have another session. Exhibit B. An indicator must be present that turns brown when there's an excess of zinc, and the evidence is B برضو. 73 until 80. I'm sorry, I have to run through this, guys. All right. The method resembles in its working the bichromate iron assay. the standard solution of potassium FC is run into a hot HA solution of the zinc until a drop of the latter brought into contact with a drop of the indicator, uranium acetate, on a white plate strikes brown color. Right, and then we have to do the last question here. We're going to go say answer A. Which of the following resembles the relationship between the precipitate of zinc ferrocyanide and iron as described in the passage? Car filled with unfiltered water results in radiator blocked with limestone. This is actually a tricky one, right? من أصعب الأسئلة اللي شفتها في EST. This is related to build up. أنا مش عارف إزاي صراحة حد يعرف كده by the way. لو مش عندكم علم العربيات والبطارية بتاع العربية، لو سبتوا البطارية على العربية من غير تمسحوا الحديد بتاعتها، في حاجة أبيض بيجي عليها like a precipitate. Just like a precipitate, like a white powder thing. So what I'm stumped is ازاي يدوكوا إجابة زي دي لو مش عندكوا علم عن عربيات وكده. It's a very strange type of answer بس ما شفناهاش تاني من ساعتها. I have to get going. I have another class. Do you guys have any questions before we go today? جانا هغير لك الامتحان بتاعتك. Okay, هغير لك الامتحان بتاعتك. Thank you for coming. Do your homework. You can learn anything, Mr. Samao. Bye.